Edward William Barton-Wright was born in 1860 in the town of Louth, England. He grew up in a family that valued education and intellectual curiosity, eventually becoming an engineer and inventor. This background equipped him with a scientific approach to problem solving and a strong sense of innovation. In the late 19th century, Barton-Wright found himself drawn to various interests that ranged from mechanical engineering to the emerging fields of electrical engineering and industrial design. His vocational pursuits began to intersect with his personal fascination with physical fitness and self-defense. In the 1890s, Barton-Wright embarked on a journey that would profoundly influence his life and the future of martial arts in Britain. Traveling to Japan, he immersed himself in the country's rich cultural tapestry and gained first-hand experience with traditional martial arts. During his time in Japan, he was introduced to Jiu-Jitsu, a grappling art that emphasized technique over brute strength. This encounter was pivotal, inspiring him to study rigorously under noted Japanese instructors. Barton-Wright's time in Japan wasn't just about learning the techniques. It was an exploration of discipline, respect, and the deep philosophical underpinnings that accompanied martial arts practice. Upon returning to Britain, Barton-Wright noticed a growing fascination with Japanese culture and martial practices among the British public, fueled in part by the country's colonial endeavors in the East. The late 19th century witnessed a wave of interest in martial arts, largely as a result of exhibitions and performances demonstrating jiu-jitsu and other techniques. British society was captivated by the effectiveness and elegance of these foreign fighting styles. Traditional self-defense methods in Britain at the time typically emphasized boxing and wrestling, yet there was a hunger for more comprehensive systems that incorporated various techniques and philosophies. Recognizing this burgeoning interest, Barton-Wright sought to introduce a new form of self-defense that would resonate with the British public while maintaining the integrity of the original Japanese practices. In 1899, he founded the first jiu-jitsu school in London, promoting his unique approach that he dubbed Bartitsu. Combining elements of jiu-jitsu, savate, and boxing, Barton-Wright designed a comprehensive self-defense system that addressed the needs of urban dwellers, particularly as concerns about personal safety were rising in a rapidly changing society. His innovative methods incorporated techniques for defending against armed and unarmed attackers, further broadening the appeal of his martial art. Barton-Wright's instructional methods were notable for their emphasis on practical application and efficiency, appealing to a wide range of students who were eager to learn self-defense. His school attracted students across various social classes, including women, whom he encouraged to train in self-defense techniques, challenging contemporary norms about gender and physicality. As he taught his students, Barton-Wright instilled values of honor and respect that he had learned in Japan, fostering a deeper understanding of the cultural significance of martial arts. The establishment of Bartitsu marked a critical point in the cross-cultural exchange between Japan and Britain, showcasing the mutual respect and willingness to learn from one another despite the prevailing winds of colonialism. As interest in Barton-Wright's teachings grew, it laid the groundwork for the later development of martial arts in the Western world, influencing future generations of practitioners. Through Barton-Wright's vision and dedication, Jiu-Jitsu was not merely adopted but evolved within a British context, forever changing the landscape of martial arts. Barton-Wright traveled to Japan in the early 1890s, where he sought to deepen his understanding of martial arts. He began training in Jiu-Jitsu, a discipline that was gaining prominence in Japan at the time. Under the guidance of notable instructors such as Jigoro Kano, the founder of the Kodokan Judo, and Tsunetane Ono, a jiu-jitsu master, he embraced the philosophy and techniques that jiu-jitsu offered. This martial art, which emphasized joint locks and throws, provided a practical approach to self-defense, contrasting with the more brute force techniques of Western boxing. After several years immersed in Japan's martial arts culture, Barton-Wright returned to Britain in 1899. He recognized a growing interest in physical fitness and self-defense among the British public and decided to introduce the art of jiu-jitsu in London. He established the first Jiu-Jitsu school in the city, aiming to teach the techniques he had learned abroad. His classes quickly became recognized for blending the principles of Jiu-Jitsu with elements of savate, a French kickboxing style, and traditional boxing. This hybrid system, which he named Bartitsu, aimed to provide a comprehensive self-defense approach suitable for urban life. However, introducing Jiu-Jitsu to the British public was not without its challenges. The reception of martial arts, particularly those from foreign cultures, was met with skepticism and curiosity in equal measure. Many viewed these practices through the lens of colonial attitudes, often as exotic novelties rather than effective self-defense systems. Barton-Wright had to engage in considerable public relations efforts to legitimize Jiu-Jitsu in the eyes of potential students. He organized demonstrations and exhibitions, showcasing the effectiveness of the techniques against opponents, including well-trained boxers, which helped to sway public opinion. Barton-Wright also faced competition from established martial arts and sports within Britain. Traditional boxing was a dominant force, and many were hesitant to embrace a new form of self-defense that diverged so markedly from familiar practices. He often emphasized the practicality and efficiency of Jiu-Jitsu techniques, making them appealing not just to men but also to women who began attending classes, breaking stereotypes about gender roles in martial arts. Additionally, there were cultural barriers to overcome. The late 19th century was a time of complex political and social dynamics, particularly in the context of British imperialism. Barton-Wright's approach was inherently respectful, seeking to honor the traditions and techniques of the Japanese masters he had trained with. He carefully framed Jiu-Jitsu as a sophisticated and effective form of self-defense that anyone could learn, irrespective of their background or gender. Through persistence and a dedicated effort to showcase the practical applications and philosophical underpinnings of Jiu-Jitsu, Barton-Wright gradually made inroads in Britain's martial arts scene. His work not only laid the groundwork for future generations of martial artists in the UK, but also initiated a broader conversation about cultural exchange, respect, and the evolution of self-defense practices in a rapidly changing world. Bartitsu would come to influence various martial arts practices in the decades that followed, marking a significant shift in how self-defense was perceived in Britain and beyond. In 1900, Barton-Wright formalized his hybrid martial art, which he named Bartitsu, successfully blending the techniques of Jiu-Jitsu with principles of Western boxing and wrestling. This innovative approach aimed not only to create an effective self-defense system, but also to promote a comprehensive understanding of physical culture. Barton-Wright believed that incorporating diverse fighting styles would enhance one's overall combat effectiveness, allowing practitioners to adapt to different situations and opponents. To further establish Bartitsu in the public consciousness, Barton-Wright opened the Bartitsu Club in London in 1901. This club became a hub for enthusiasts and curious individuals alike, offering classes that introduced the principles of Bartitsu to a wider audience. The club's structure reflected Barton-Wright's vision of a martial arts community, where respect for tradition and the practice of rigorous training were paramount. It served as a welcoming space for both men and women, breaking the stereotypes surrounding martial arts training during an era when such activities were often reserved for men. The Bartitsu Club quickly attracted attention beyond casual practitioners. Law enforcement agencies began to take notice of the effectiveness of Jiu-Jitsu techniques in subduing suspects with minimal violence. Several members of the police force joined the club, integrating Bartitsu into their training regimens. This shift represented a significant endorsement of Barton-Wright's work, as law enforcement valued the practical, results-driven methods that Bartitsu offered. It not only provided officers with new tools for self-defense, but also underscored the importance of controlling confrontations without resorting to excessive force. Notable figures within British society also embraced Bartitsu, further raising its profile. Among its first students was the famous writer and intellectual Arthur Conan Doyle, who sought out Barton-Wright's teachings to better understand physical conditioning and self-defense concepts. The sport attracted individuals from various backgrounds, including upper-class gentlemen intrigued by the sophistication of the martial art, and those involved in the growing movement of physical fitness at the turn of the century. Barton-Wright's emphasis on the cultural ethos of Jiu-Jitsu resonated deeply with his students. Rather than merely adopting the martial art, they appreciated the philosophy emphasis on respect, discipline, and self-improvement. This cultural exchange was particularly significant at a time when stereotypes and misconceptions about Eastern practices were common in the West. As Bartitsu's popularity spread, it began to influence other martial arts as well, challenging traditional Western combat sports to adapt. Featuring dynamic moves such as throws, joint locks, and the incorporation of striking techniques from boxing and savate, Bartitsu proved to be a versatile and effective self-defense system. Its hybrid nature encouraged practitioners to innovate and expand their skill sets. Today, Bartitsu remains an often overlooked but integral part of martial arts history and serves as a precursor to contemporary mixed martial arts, MMA. The principles Barton-Wright championed continue to influence modern self-defense practices, highlighting the importance of adaptability and respect for diverse fighting traditions. His legacy of cross-cultural exchange emphasizes the enduring value of learning from one another across geographical and cultural boundaries, providing a timeless lesson of collaboration in an increasingly globalized world. Edward William Barton-Wright's legacy is evident in the profound impact his creation of Bartitsu had on martial arts in Britain and beyond. His innovative approach to self-defense incorporated techniques drawn from Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, and wrestling, laying the groundwork for future martial arts developments. The Bartitsu Club served as a pioneering space for practitioners to not only learn a new art, but to engage in a vibrant community where ideas and techniques were shared and evolved. As the 20th century progressed, Jiu-Jitsu gained substantial popularity in the West. Influenced by Barton-Wright's work, many martial artists began to explore its techniques as a means of self-defense. With the rise of mixed martial arts, MMA, in modern times, practitioners often find themselves relying on strategies and training methodologies that can be traced back to earlier hybrid forms of martial arts, including Bartitsu. This cross-pollination of styles continues to shape martial arts around the world, reflecting the adaptability and relevance of Barton-Wright's contributions. While Barton-Wright's introduction of Jiu-Jitsu occurred within a colonial context, it also signified an important moment of cultural exchange. This interaction was not merely one-sided. It reflected a mutual respect for the martial traditions of both East and West. Barton-Wright approached the practice with an intention to honor the origins of Jiu-Jitsu, ensuring that its techniques were taught with authenticity and respect. This aspect of his legacy resonates today as discussions around cultural appropriation and sensitivity in the arts and media intensify. The accessibility and adaptability highlighted by Barton-Wright have encouraged people from diverse backgrounds to engage with martial arts. His advocacy for including women and marginalized communities in martial participation helped dismantle social barriers and promoted inclusivity within what was primarily a male-dominated environment. This commitment to diversity within the martial arts community is a cornerstone of the practices that thrive today, as martial arts schools across the globe strive to create welcoming environments for all. In a broader historical context, the interactions between Japan and the West, exemplified through Barton-Wright's experiences, underscore the significance of globalization long before it became a contemporary issue. The exchange between cultures facilitated not only the transmission of martial techniques, but also fostered a dialogue about physical culture, discipline, and personal development. These conversations have continued to evolve, reflecting shifting societal values and norms. Barton-Wright's vision for Bartitsu remains influential, serving as a reminder of the power of cultural exchange in shaping identity and practice. In our increasingly interconnected world, his story invites us to reflect on the responsibility that comes with adopting practices from other cultures. It emphasizes the necessity of approaching such exchanges with a sense of respect, regard, and authenticity, ensuring that their rich histories are honored and maintained. In conclusion, Edward William Barton-Wright's legacy as the father of Jiu-Jitsu in Britain exemplifies the potential for cultural collaboration and innovation. His commitment to bridging Eastern and Western martial traditions paved the way for modern self-defense techniques and highlighted the importance of inclusivity within the martial arts community. As we engage more deeply with these discussions around cultural exchange, Barton-Wright's impact serves as a guiding principle for future generations of martial artists and cultural practitioners alike.